What's up, loungers? This is Post-Production Pie with srlounge.com, and I've got another Lightroom 4 Preset System Mixology tutorial for you guys. And this time we are going over number 27, the HDR Grunge Vivid Landscape preset. Now in this video, as usual, we're going to give you guys some examples of which situations we like to use this preset in, kind of show you some before and afters and comparisons between different presets, as well as, of course, end with showing you guys how to create this preset using the Lightroom 4 Preset System. Alright guys, so let's get started. Let's first select this option and check it out on this image. Now, what you'll notice is that this HDR Grunge has kind of that grungy editorial feel to it, where it has a really strong boost in mid-tone contrast, a lot of clarity, a lot of details. It's a very punchy look, and to be honest, I love using this effect when I want to create like a very strong editorial look to an image. Now, this isn't an image that we're delivering to our clients. This is an image that I would be putting up like for, say, some sort of a competition or something where I want it to be very artistic, very kind of, off the beaten path. Or, again, we're going for like an editorial look, like maybe something more commercial, something like that. Alright, now what I would do with this image is I would go over to the right side and I dial in my exact temperature setting that I want, maybe brighten it up 2 clicks to 0.20, and I'd call it good from here. What I might also do actually is add in a base adjustment just to add in a little vignette and darken up the edges just a little bit more. There we go. We get this cool kind of editorial look to that image, and here was the before and here's the after in just a few simple clicks. We get that HDR Grunge look. Now, another reason why I've labeled this HDR Grunge is because this is one of those presets that, again, I call kind of the manly man preset. It's the, the boys preset. So going over, and I'm going to show you guys an example of exactly what I'm talking about. Let's go hit G to jump into the grid view. And let's pull up a manly man shot and a dude smoking. I can't think of anything manlier than a dude smoking. Actually, there's a lot of manlier things. Don't go out there smoking because I endorsed it. All right, going to jump in the develop module and let's select the same thing, HDR Grunge. And what we're going to do is we're going to darken this up a bit just because we want it to be a little more moody. We can go down to, it's up to you guys where you want to kind of keep it. At -1 it works. At -1/2 it also works. And I think I want something kind of in between those. So let's drop it down to like -0.7. And then what we're going to do is just dial in an exact white balance and tint. So let's pull down the tint a little bit so we get a little bit less of the reds, and let's pull down the temperature just a little bit as well. I want it to be a little bit on the warm side, but not too much. Alright, so we get this really nice kind of grunge look to these images. Again, this is what I'm talking about when I say it's kind of the manly man preset. It gives you like that really strong kind of grunge look that you see in editorial shots. Alright, let's jump back to, actually let's just go to the film strip and see what else we got. Ooh, we got another guy smoking. Why not? Let's do it with this guy too. Alright, I like the one with the cigarette in his mouth better, so let's do this one. Or a cigar rather, not a cigarette. Alright, HDR Grunge. Let's close down this little bottom thing here, and let's add on a little bit of vignetting actually. We'll go down here and we'll add some light. Let's go actually medium vignette. Kind of darken up the edges just a bit. And I love this overall kind of really warm look to it. I'm going to see if I like it better just a little bit cooler, but not too much. I want it just a little bit pulled down. I think that's a little bit too much. We're going to leave it on the warm side. Alright, so check this out. We got, again, that HDR Grunge look gives us a really nice kind of very high contrasty, grungy look to this image, similar to what you'd see with editorial photographers when they do their HDR Grunge styles. Now, this is a common setting that's actually applied to portraits, and I think I have one portrait here, but you'll often see street photographers going out and taking shots of like street portraits of old people or whatever their subjects are for the day, and typically they're going to apply this setting to guys because it is going to be a very, very rough setting. But let me show you guys kind of what it does. Let's go find, I had an image of oh, there we go. Here's our guy. So I think you'll be able to identify exactly the look right when you see it on this image because it has that grungy look, and that's why I call it Grunge, HDR Grunge. So you can see that super high contrast kind of detail enhanced look in this image, and what you typically would see people do is they do kind of darken up just a little bit to make it that much more kind of contrasty and more dramatic. And then what we do from here is just kind of dial in the right white balance, and I think we're going to go a little bit with the we'll go up to 4900 is good. All right, so that's kind of that grunge look, and that's where you get that effect. So again, street photographers, you guys will probably love this because you go do your portraits and you'll come back, apply this effect, and you get that awesome grunge look that you used to be able to only do in Photoshop. Now let's show you guys exactly how to build this preset or this mixology. So we're going to reset this out. I'm going to hit Control-Shift-R or Command-Shift-R on a Mac. And what we're going to do is go into, and we're not going to worry about the exposure. This image is a little bit overexposed, but once again, we work with properly exposed images, and this preset will turn out great with a properly exposed image. So we're just going to assume that this is properly exposed. Alright guys, so let's get started, and first things first, we have to bring it in with our standard import setting just to get our standard settings applied. Now we're going to drop into our base adjustments. We're going to go down to heavy HDR to improve, or increase rather, the dynamic range in our image. We're going to go to detail, and we're going to do a heavy boost on detail because we want a lot of that mid-tone contrast. We're going to go to contrast, and we're going to do let's do a medium boost just to give us a tiny bit of a boost there. And then what we're going to do here on the blacks is do a medium brighten. Now actually this is going to darken the image because our heavy HDR is actually pulling up blacks a lot more than we want to. So this medium brighten, even though it says brighten, is actually going to have lower settings, and it's going to darken up the image a bit. Alright, now we are done here. We might, if you guys want, you can do a little bit of noise reduction. I think I'd save the noise reduction for basically an image per image basis. I would do a little bit of a vignette with it just to kind of darken up the edges a little bit. And then what we're going to do is drop down into our neutral curves, and this is where we're going to go and pick a desaturated punch. And this is going to give it that final effect to kind of create a really vivid, added contrast look with the overall desaturated color tones. Now let's go up to My Mixology, let's compare this, make sure we got it right on the spot, and if I click this we shouldn't see any change, and we don't see any change. Alright, perfect guys, we got it down. Again, if you want to save that as a preset, which you wouldn't need to for this one because in the 1.1 update it's already included as number 27, but if you did, we would go and hit plus, we would select My Mixology Folder, you'd hit check all, uncheck white balance, lens profile correction, transform, chromatic aberration. If you guys don't have this memorized by now, then you haven't watched enough tutorials to the very end. Give it a name of your choice and turn off auto settings and then hit create. Now, this is already created for us. So that gives you guys an idea of how to use the HDR Grunge mixology. Let's check out the before and the after. Again, this is not a look that I'd say is something for everybody. This is a very specific look for a very specific type of editorial look that you want to have with your images. If you go and shoot a wedding and you deliver all of your images like this, well, your bride and probably half of the congregation will hate you, and the rest of them will think that you're just a really bad photographer. Anyway guys, use this at your discretion, at your choice, and to pull off this grunge style. Hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll see you guys with the next mixology tutorial.